Hi, I'm Ravi Handa, and today we are going to talk about what are some of the big changes that have come in with respect to the NPS. If you are a subscriber or if you're planning to subscribe to NPS, which I very strongly believe you should, anyone and everyone should have NPS in their portfolio, then you need to know what has changed. What has happened is that a couple of days ago, that is on 16th of September, the government issued two draft circulars of sorts. One is called the Exit and Withdrawal Exposure Draft, which essentially deals with how you can take money out from the NPS. Whereas the other one, which is the Multiple Scheme Framework, that essentially talks about how you invest in the NPS. Actually, the two biggest criticisms of NPS, I don't believe that they are such strong criticism, but still, the two biggest criticisms of NPS have been A, that you are compulsorily forced to buy annuity with 40% of the amount that you get at the end of the NPS period whenever you exit from it. And while I believe it's a good idea to get annuity at that age, people don't like it because their money is being restricted, and that's a valid point. If you put any sort of a restriction on money that you can do only this with it, it is generally something people are not going to like. So that has been one criticism. The other criticism from the investment perspective in NPS has been that even in the best case scenario, you can invest only up to 75% in equity. There was no 100% equity option that existed. And even in that 75% equity, after the age of 50, that tapers down. Both of those criticisms have been addressed with these two circulars, drafts, proposals which have come out. Let's have a look at them in a little bit more detail. So the number one change that has been in the annuity compulsory part, that part was 40%. So let's say you exited the NPS at the age of 60 with 1 crore rupees. With 40 lakh rupees, you would have been forced to buy an annuity. Now, it's not that 40 lakhs, it's 20 lakhs. It will essentially become that you will be forced to buy annuity only with that 20%. And I don't think that's significant of an amount, but yeah, as a change, it's a huge positive change that, the so-called burden of buying annuity has been halved. Government sector, however, will continue at 40%. So this change is only for the private sector employees. The other big change which has come in in the form of MSF, which is Multiple Scheme Framework. So this is the circular, the MSF circular which came out. Now, what exactly is this? See, till now what happens is you can invest in schemes. So what you can do is, let's say you will have an equity scheme, a government scheme, a corporate bond scheme, and an alternative scheme. That is the EGCS, the schemes that exist, which are now being called as the common schemes. And in those schemes, there were limits. For example, one of the limits was that in the equity scheme, you cannot invest more than 75%. Now that is going away, or rather that will continue to exist. I'm not saying that's going away. A new framework will be introduced in which there will be personas. So let's say you're a salaried worker, or you're a self-employed businessman or something like that, or you're a gig worker or something like that. There will be personas which will be assigned to you, and there will be various schemes that will be offered to you. And all of these schemes will compulsorily come with a high risk option, which will be there. There will be an optional low risk option, which the fund managers might decide to put out or not put out. That's their call. The moderate and the high risk will exist, and in the high risk one, you will essentially have an option of investing up to 100% in equity. These will have a vesting period, so that means that if you put money into these MSF framework, it will continue, you'll have to have it for a period of 15 years. You can exit it either, suppose you become 60. So I'm 42 if I invest. So for me, it will be when I am 57 if I do it this particular year itself. The other part is you can switch from the MSS. So suppose you decided to put money in it, you didn't like it, and don't think that this serves your purpose, and you want to switch back to the common schemes, the schemes which are existing today. That's perfectly allowed. You can do that whenever you want. On the other hand, if you want to switch from one particular MSF to another particular MSF, that's not really going to be possible within the first 15 years or till that exit period happens. Actually, a lot of complicated stuff, as some of you might feel, and I'll also not be very confident of it that I have interpreted the circular in a fully correct fashion. But broadly, the big thing is now you can invest up to 100% in equity via NPS, which I believe is a very, very big change. So both of these changes, the fact that the compulsory annuity has gone down from a 40% to a 20%, that I believe is a huge game changer. For people who were skeptical of putting money into NPS before, they should no longer be skeptical about it, because a big thing has gone away. The other big criticism that only 75% remains in equity, and because I'm investing for a really, really long term, I should have the option of 100% equity. Well, now you do. You can essentially put 100% in equity in NPS from now on. And then there is a third change which has come in, which I believe makes my life a little bit more comfortable, and that's the reason why I really like it. They have introduced a concept of a systematic unit redemption, which is essentially you can take out money from NPS not purely as a lump sum, but you can take out the money from the NPS in a monthly or quarterly. I don't think that part has been declared yet, but you can take out money from it systematically, periodically in some sort of SWP like programs which exist. This will be for a period of 5 years. Now, why I personally like this is, suppose I'm at the age of 60 or at the age of 70, or whenever I decide to withdraw money from NPS, and I realize that the only option is I'll get all that chunk of money in one go, which might be a little bit difficult. So what will happen is I'll not be able to take decision with such a large amount of money at the same point of time. So what I would rather do is I'll start some sort of a systematic withdrawal plan from it. Now that withdrawal plan can be for 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. The minimum has been set at 5 years. And I do believe, especially for someone like me who is scared about taking decisions with big money at the same point of time, having this sort of an option. And this is an option. You don't want to take it, don't take it. You're taking the lump sum option exists. But this launch of this particular option that I can systematically withdraw from it is something that will help me, and I believe a large number of people who would want to withdraw from it systematically, create some sort of a pension out of it instead of getting it via the annuity. So maybe I'm getting 20,000 rupees as annuity, and maybe I can start a SWP of 80,000 rupees from here, and then I can withdraw essentially 1 lakh a month thanks to my NPS. So I like that, instead of that 20,000 annuity and someone gives me 80 lakh rupees in one go, because what will I do with that 80 lakh rupees in one go? So that's something that I find which is really, really helpful now. Some of the other changes which have come in, I believe might be helpful to a different segment of an audience. I am not very sure how helpful it is for someone like me, or perhaps for some of you it might be useful. The annuity free withdrawal. That means, so this 40%, 20% compulsion, earlier, if you had less than 5 lakh rupees in NPS, you were not forced to buy annuity. So that limit has now been increased to 12 lakhs. So suppose you are someone who has just put in 50,000 rupees for tax saving purposes sometime here and there, then you don't need to worry about annuity, boss. It will probably be 12 lakh or lesser than that. And 12 lakh is what they have said today. By the time you retire, I'm sure like this limit has moved from 5 to 12. The limit by the time you are 60 will also change. So there is a lower level which they have set at 12 lakh rupees annuity free withdrawal is there. The other change which has come in is that NPS earlier, so essentially it started with 60, then they said, okay, you can continue it till 75 years if you want, and now you can continue it till 85 years. So essentially you might not ever need to withdraw money from the NPS if you want to leave it as a way to transfer wealth to the next generation, perhaps NPS is a good idea. Keep on extending it till 85. You'll probably be dead by 85, and whoever is your nominee gets the entire money completely tax-free. No capital gain, no nothing. He'll get the entire amount of money absolutely tax-free and no annuity restrictions or nothing like that. See, even if you transfer shares to your kin, even if you transfer, mutual funds to, you nominate someone, in all of those cases, or property, capital gains need to be paid. For this wealth transfer, if you're passing on your NPS to the next generation, I don't really think any taxes are applicable here. The other part, which is the persona-based schemes, which I believe might make it a little bit easier for people to decide on which scheme to opt for. For someone like me, I'm aware, and I believe a lot of you would be aware, and a lot of you will move to the 100% equity category in NPS because it is essentially long-term money, and I'm assuming you are between 25 to 35. So, but a lot of people will not be able to make these decisions on their own. And for them, this sort of personas, that are you a salaried worker or you are a gig worker, that's something that I believe will help. Another decent change which has come in is with respect to the partial withdrawals. Earlier, only 3 partial withdrawals were allowed. And now there are 6 partial withdrawals which are allowed. So, which is slightly more optionality, might be useful for someone who wants to withdraw some portion before 60 or something like that. These withdrawals were essentially available earlier at a gap of 5 years. I think I made a mistake here. This should be 5. Now that, those 3 withdrawals were only available at a gap of 5 years. Now these 6 withdrawals are available to you at a gap of 4 years. So more flexibility, so to say. And even the reasons you can make withdrawals for. So now, suppose you want to upskill yourself, or you want to start a startup, or, if you have some sort of serious illness, you can withdraw money. So it has become a little more relaxed to take money out of NPS compared to earlier. So yeah, these are some of the changes which have come in NPS. I do believe you would agree with me that NPS is one of the best retirement planning instruments that exists today. So plan your retirement smarter with NPS 2025. You please subscribe to my channel for more such finance insights, and share this video with your friends who invest in NPS. That's Ravi Handa signing off from Desi Fire Podcast. Thank you.